Poloski's. While we are chilling here for a second, I am watching my boy Dennis here breathe his last breaths.
If you want horror, this is pure horror, folks. We're
It
giving it
is
to you
pretty
raw.
fucking terrible. I'm pretty upset about this. The reason I've been playing a lot of this lately is because I went ahead and I joined the Patreon for Mr. Atomic Duck. So I'm very excited to join that Patreon. He whitelists and then wipes his server every 30 days, something like that. But I decided since I was going to die, I might as well quickly try to, with my skills, make a stupid fucking stick trap to put out in the middle of the woods so I can start getting some food. Oh, I don't have the skill, do I? Even though I read I have a wooden box trap I can make.
Oh, well, there you go. You can capture
When they make this stupid
Yoink.
stick trap, I need more sturdy stick.
more sturdy stick.
God damn it. Make this real quick and not die in my house.
Don't die.
And you laugh,
Sturdy
but
stick.
Don't
I'm in bad
die.
shape. Hey guys, I'm hurt real bad.
Uh,
I might take these poisonous berries with me and just eat them out in the woods.
wait. Is he just rocking whitey tighties?
Yeah, I mean, I could have wore something else. I could have wore something more stylish, but I was like, nah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, if you know you're going.
full range of motion and comfort, I guess you got to go in there.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated because things were going real well. One might say, too well.
See, universe is this there to slap you back down.
It was like, hey man, remember when you were young? You shone like the sun. Shine on, you crazy diamond. And I was like, oh no, not like this. So, gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
friends,
Yes.
Romans, countrymen, lend me your
Super
ear. Super Spike, excuse that. My eyes are so shot right now that from too many video games today.
That's hard life you live.
I've been watching a lot of movies with puppets. A lot of movies with puppets lately.
Tell me about your puppets. Why I try to
tell me about your puppets.
try to get this shit to not be fucked up when I respawn.
There's demonic puppets that look like toys. Ooh. There's a bunch of toy puppets that do demonic things. And let's not forget the demons that are just puppet toys that come out of toilets and whatnot. I'm talking about those ghoulies. They're wonderful.
So yeah, let's start. Where did everyone start with?
Oh, like yeah. Well,
what was your intro to Bandland?
Well, I feel like I don't know, like specifically, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, are you going by something that he like directed, or just?
I would just say that he was associated with.
Because the amount of stuff that he produced or that company.
Yeah, he's all over the map. Like really is.
I wish I had more time to prepare for this, or had taken more time, because I was like, oh, his company produced Eliminators. I wanted to watch that anyway.
Yeah,
it's not a horror.
Eliminators is a solid flick.
But like, I had no idea that he had like a hand in Reanimator and all that. Yep. Like, he's got so many fingers in so many different pies and stuff like that. It's yeah. But like, I don't know. For me, like, I don't know. It's hard because, like, you know, growing up in like the 80s and like, you know, early 90s, like, I feel like there was just these things that were out there in the zeitgeist. Like, you just knew about like ghoulies, like, you know, just kind of in the same way you knew about like, oh, Freddy Krueger and Jason, even if you hadn't seen those movies. And at least for me, that's what like that was kind of like. So I can't remember what I want to, you know, I feel like I knew of this stuff just from like going to the video store and you see the cover and stuff like that. Or you hear like an older cousin or uncles, whatever, like talking about stuff, older kids in the bus. But I think like the first thing I actually really legit saw was probably like Puppet Master. And that was
I'm trying to think what my first exposure to
See,
Charles.
I'm pretty sure for me, and I'm gonna just extrapolate,
Yeah.
from my own history here, because I can't be sure that this is actually how it happened, but based on other circumstances, I think this is it
Oh,
because there was Channel 9 used to do like I can't remember if it was like a Saturday afternoon movie.
hmm
And I remember I would watch it as like a kid. So we moved to the St. Cloud area, like when I was like halfway through first grade. So it was before that. So this would have been, like 85, 86, somewhere in there. And I know I would watch it. I can still kind of remember the intro or the transition graphics that they would use. And it was, it's just like, here we got a bunch of movies that we have the rights to that we're going to air on a Saturday afternoon to fill 2 hours.
yeah.
And I know I saw Duel as part of that.
Ooh.
And that stuck with me. But I'm pretty sure at some point I must have seen Laser Blast as part of that, because later on when I saw it on MST3K,
Yeah.
I know this movie.
You were like, I know this.
I
fucking
know
movie.
this thing.
The part with him with the frickin' vacuum cleaner on his arm turning into like dollar store Incredible Hulk, like that image lived in my head. Like like I saw when it got to that, I'm like, oh yeah, and shooting the guy in the van, like the hippie guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
In front of the Star Wars sign to remind you of
As
Star
as you do.
But yeah, that like I at least saw that scene, and
Yeah.
I know band produced that. So
Was that was Empire Pictures, wasn't it?
yeah, I believe so. Yep.
No, that was actually Charles Band Productions, Laser Blast.
Ooh.
That's
so
OG.
was OG was what am I trying to say here? Sorry, I'm a little
Because
I'm
in
fucking
terms of his
flustered right now.
productions, it's like Charles Band Productions, then Empire,
Doing Empire.
then Full Moon, and then from Full Moon he like just did a ton of like all sorts of like little like niche like little distributor things and stuff like that. That's when it gets to like Moonbeam Entertainment, and there's one I can't remember.
A lot of weird.
He had one that was kind of like his like Red Shoe Diaries distribution kind of like thing, whereas all the sexy movies that was like something like Forest Moon or Shivery Moon or something like that. Like it was like, ooh, turn the lights down. Charles Band wants to tell us a story. But actually I gotta correct myself. Going over the list of movies, like, you know what? I can't believe I didn't think about this. Actually, my legit first experience of anything related to Charles Band would definitely be Troll. Right off the bat. Troll was a movie that was always in my like life. I can't remember a time without Troll.
I can't remember my life before Troll.
I don't remember what the world was before Troll. I don't.
I just ate the poison. Now we're gonna walk into the long dark, just screaming at the top of our lungs.
Over here.
As my health just drops. Choke on it! Choke on it! Oh, here we got a boy. But boy, will you reach me before my poison kills me? Probably not.
I'm running this monkey farm, Frankenstein, not you.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that there was accusations that Joanne ripped off some of her stuff from Troll.
But who did?
Joanne, JK.
Oh, that isn't. Joanne.
Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter's a legit character in Troll.
Yeah.
Yes, that. Yeah.
Joanne is a straight up cold-blooded thief. I mean, let's be honest.
Either or it's the the whole like, oh, I didn't realize I was ripping, like, she read books of magic and then got hit with a shovel, and then when she came to, she forgot that she had read it and was like,
or
I have
D&D,
the greatest idea for a boy magician with glasses.
Or D&D, like Voldemort is basically a fucking lich.
Yeah, some of that stuff's just in the the ether, but there's some of it where it's like, okay, this feels like there's too much going on here. was
Don't get me started.
bad.
Don't get me started on Joanne and my.
Oh no, we're not going down that road. I was, speaking of D&D though, I did see the that Charles Band produced a film called The Dungeon Master,
Yeah.
and now I'm sad that I haven't been able to. I can't. It's not streaming anywhere that I can see.
I think that movie is one where it was like 8 directors.
Yep.
Like they all did a little piece of it.
It's an anthology, but it also features an appearance by Wasp.
Yep.
Yes.
They are
I really
they're
want to see
playing
it.
basically themselves.
The lead guy gets to a fight with them, if I remember right. Like he fights the band.
Like Blackie Lawless, yeah.
I need to find a way to see that now.
And it's got a great quote. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
I reject your reality was someone else was using that all the time for a while as like a sign off. I don't remember who it was though. Yeah, that's like a. No, you know what that was? That was from one of the MythBusters guys.
Yes, he like
took me a second to remember that.
Savage, I think, right? Yeah.
Fred Savage
and his little brother.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing, honestly, I don't think I saw Troll early in my life. I think Troll was something I came to much later.
It was something that I saw early enough that I didn't realize it was a bad movie until much, much later. I was like, this is legit. Have you seen Troll? Have you seen Troll? I'd like sit people down and then they'd be like,
tell me more about this movie, Troll.
And then it's like, oh, you guys are in for a treat. Like high school time. Let's everyone come over. We're going to watch a movie. This used to be the scariest thing when I was a kid. And then you pop it in and there's like moments where you got all these puppets eating like cream peas and like singing and like dance chorus line and stuff like that. And you're just like, what's going on here?
So, and he was just a producer on that, correct?
Yeah, that was actually no, wait. Yeah, John Carl Beekler, the guy
that's what I thought
who did the effects for like Ghoulies, those, and obviously Troll, that was his production, I believe. Okay. Yeah, he did. As a director. Yeah, I love it.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
A funny anecdote about like Ghoulies, I guess like they were legit going for a very straight tone with that.
I've always heard that, and that is bonkers.
And then when they saw the puppets, I guess the director broke out laughing. And John Carl Beechler was like, what's going on? He's like, John, look at your puppets. They're hilarious. And he's like, what do you mean? They're scary. He's like,
the state-of-the-art puppets.
And he's like, look at this one. It looks exactly like you. And I guess it's a little bald one. There's a picture of them like face to face. And it's like, dude, you did make yourself like subconsciously. It's hilarious. And yeah, and then I guess that's the story. And then they decided to pivot it into that comedy. But it does have that weird tone, because you could tell like there's that slapdash part of it where it's like, okay, they were trying to be serious here, and then here it's just like, and then they just decided, let's film the puppets eating like turkey and stuff, like just somewhere else on a different day. Like, it's just like, what's going on?
Nice, Super Spike, nice. So just an update. Randomized name is Nigel Woodward.
Sure,
that's good.
He's got some sweet hair. I think I'm going to give him, if I can find a good douchey facial hair. Oh God, I almost tempted to give him scruffy facial hair. I'm going to give him the pointy chin. Anyway, or the chin. I'm going to give him the chin strap.
Oh
yeah,
he's already a lumberjack.
That's a good standby. Or if possible, do the goatee with the Oakley shades.
There are aviators in here.
Yeah.
Like mirrored aviators.
And then it just he can be off doing his own research.
I'm gonna give him
doing my own research.
I thought about giving him a bucket hat, but it's too cool. I'm either gonna give him a tartan golf cap or a fedora.
Oh, fedora.
I kind of feel like we named the dog Indiana. And I'm definitely gonna give him, I can't decide if a formal shirt or a Hawaiian shirt. Because I'm not giving him a lumberjack shirt. He doesn't deserve that. I could give him a denim shirt. Denim Dan, what's with the tuxedo?
Ooh, Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah, he's getting a Hawaiian shirt. Anyway, Sorry, I got real like I'm seething with the fact that I died last time. So Troll, I like I said, I came to Troll late.
Yeah.
But I think when I look back at Charles Band and what I can think of that really brought me to the dance for the band would have been Trancers. I think Trancers was because the VHS cover for Trancers was just like, oh snap. There's some creepy stuff going on. I think when I was a kid, I thought that Trancers was Scanners.
Oh, yeah.
So I was stoked about that.
Yeah.
What I did not realize, Trancers, it's not Scanners.
Nope.
Very, very different movie than that. So I walked away from that being like, what the fuck? But I still was like, this is fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trancers is great.
I think from there it was one of those things where I think it was oh god, now all of a sudden I can't remember the name of the toy movies.
Puppet Master?
Puppet Master.
Yeah.
I think Puppet Master was the next because I think Puppet Master was a movie that I watched with my dad.
Okay.
Which was one of those like where you guys want to watch a movie, like you're here. We would be at Dad's, I think I would have been at the time when he was possibly the time when he was running the liquor store. So it'd been like Saturday afternoon, but I don't think it was because I don't think that movie would have got on a Saturday afternoon. Puppet Master would have been a little too much.
Maybe on like cable, I could see them just throwing it on there too.
Yeah, possibly on like some, like randomly I could see that running on the weekend. Yeah.
Well, when we were there, I mean, this is so old. I'm going to date myself so horribly. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Is when we would go to the liquor store, it would be black and white TV in the back of the liquor store. And it would be like 5 channels.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta remember, I'm so old that I remember when HBO started.
It's good times. Oh yeah.
No, it's not. It's
there's an old comfort for that flying, zooming in HBO logo where it's like all the things are popping up and things are flying past and HBO. You're just like HBO.
They had that sweet, sweet song they played. Da, 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 da. It was like almost like bad Star Trek music.
Yeah.
Does anyone else remember what I'm talking about?
No, I totally do. Because my dad was one of those guys who would just record everything like off of HBO. Like we had stacks and stacks of like,
yeah.
It's like, where's do you remember what tape Return of the Jedi's on? Oh, I think it's with Jaws, but it's between Jaws and like ordinary people. So it's just like the weirdest mix-ups of things.
I remember seeing bonkers shit on HBO like Altered States.
Yeah, man. No, like my dad has like this weird love of like just out there off kilter movies. So like, yeah, like Altered States was strangely enough, I can say Altered States was a movie from my childhood.
Yeah. No, and it's one of those movies. So now I'm like, why did anyone let me watch this?
Oh yeah. No, I have that question about a lot of stuff. It's just like, who was supervising me that this happened? Like, yeah, like I
was a child.
At 3, I was exposed to Motel Hell. Like
Motel Hell was another one I didn't see until much later on.
Oh yeah, I just was like, yeah, there's this movie about like this brother and sister, and they eat people, and people are like, what? Yeah, they're in a motel.
I think Motel Hell 2 was one of those movies where it was a super acquired taste.
Yeah. And I didn't realize the satire of that of the whole movie until much, much later. So I appreciate it on a whole different level now. Like I love that movie.
I think
fun time.
I think that's the deal too. There's a lot of those movies that like I just didn't get. There was a movie called like Redneck Zombie Holocaust. Is anyone else familiar with this shot on VHS masterpiece? I remember seeing that. hanging out at home with a bunch of friends watching bad movies, of course, as we did all the time. But that movie legitimately bothering me, like upsetting me to the point where which never happened, where I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go do something else inside the house.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, kids interrupted. Which movie was this?
Redneck zombie.
Oh, zombie. Yes, yeah. There is upsetting stuff in there. Like,
where I was just like, yeah, I'm done watching this. You guys can continue to watch it. I'm going to go in another room. And it was one of those odd things where like that type of gore really, really bugged me when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just obnoxious gore. I just, for whatever reason, I had a hard time getting into that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole plethora of like I got more into that stuff later where it was like,
yeah. Oh, totally.
Where, like you were saying, you kind of realize the context and this is a satire.
Yeah. Whoa.
Because I don't think my young brain understood that at all.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, if you don't have the context, to know what it's like riffing on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is like where my dad loved horror, he was not a zombie guy.
Okay.
He did not really like zombie flicks. So that wasn't like a huge part of that formation of my horror bona fides, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Zombies were a big one for me. Like, I have a distinct memory of annoying my entire family while they were watching the original Night of the Living Dead. And I was sitting on the staircase, like almost near tears because I was so scared, but being like, what's happening? What's happening now? Are they okay?
But here's another thing. I saw Halloween when I was probably 6.
Ooh.
So far too young.
Yeah, dude.
Halloween bugged me until this day. Sometimes.
Well, there's little kids in that too.
Like in danger.
Yeah. In danger. Big time.
So another one though that hit me real hard was actually Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Because I saw that real young. And from then on out, I was pretty sure every time I rode my bike by the cemetery that I was fucked at any moment, that they were all just going to coming to get you, Barbara. So it really, really, really stuck with me. So for a long time, I couldn't appreciate that movie very well because it scared me. I mean, which is so funny because now it's like, I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I could watch it anytime and not have it bother me. But when I was younger, it bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. One movie that like I watch now and I'm like, this is great, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But there was something when I saw that at a really young age. My sister had a bunch of friends over and they were watching it, and I kind of like crept downstairs and like saw it's when he comes and attacks the radio station, and whoa, that's so intense. Like,
because it didn't feel foreign anymore. It was like in your face.
Yeah, and it's like it's this woman's security, all her safety is just and like she's completely at the mercy of it, and it was just so intense and so crazy. Now I watch that movie and it's just it's intended to be this madcap, over the top, zany like comedy, and Tobe Hooper was kind of aiming for it, and I totally see it now. It's so silly, but like, whoa!
Not when you're young.
Yeah, so like I remember like distinct like, oh man, I had these awful series of dreams where Leatherface would burst out of my I had like a French door kind of like closet, and he just
even up until I was even after I graduated high school, I cannot sleep with my closet door open.
Oh, really?
Too intense.
Yeah.
Too goddamn intense. Which is, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And even now, like, because I will occasionally have sleep paralysis.
Oh.
I cannot deal with it. I just can't. And it will literally scare the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
I'm better about it now than I've ever been, but let's be honest, it doesn't mean it's good. So when we look at the works of Ban,
Yes.
do either of you have kind of a, I'm trying to think how I want to put this, a particular kind of go-to, like that was kind of like, this other stuff's good, but this is my cheesy.
Oh gosh.
I definitely don't. But it's just not a filmography that I've dove as deep into as I want to, frankly. The one I've seen the most is definitely Laser Blast, and that's just because it's MST.
Mm-hmm.
And I will rewatch MST over and over and over again. So
Well,
haven't in a while, but there was a while there where I would just mainline that. So definitely,
What
that.
about something like Dr. Mordred?
I need to watch that because that's on. I think it's on Tubi right now, and I'm very curious about that because
Have you never seen it?
Ooh,
I know I have not. I have not seen it. It's that, but I'm curious about it because it's in that weird, pre-Blade zone of comic book movies, and that stuff. Because like I've seen Corman's Fantastic Four. I had a bootleg of the Justice League TV pilot.
No way.
All that stuff does fascinate me. I think I tried to watch the Captain America one from like 90.
I've watched that because it was a Riff Tracks.
Yeah. Some of those old. That's the way I've digested some of those older ones.
Yeah.
Trying to watch them as is, it can be really rough. Rough.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, all those other weird, we're like, oh yeah, here's Tank Girl, here's the Phantom, here's the, like, we're just gonna dig out these weird, obscure things and make movies out of them.
Okay. So I mean, we can go on and on about all this.
Yeah.
But let's get to the heart of the matter. So when you're looking at that band stuff, is it something that you would seek out? For me, it definitely was, and even is, because just,
I mean, looking down the list, I'm seeing 5-6 movies that I didn't realize he had involvement with that I want to see.
Like what?
Eliminators. I've never seen Arena.
Ooh, that's fun.
And I want to see Arena because I know it's not good, but it's freaking space blood sport.
Yeah,
so
there's really good practical effects to admire with Arena. There really is. There's some fun stuff.
Well, I think that too is always really interesting when you're talking about band stuff. Is they're in that same wheelhouse as Corman. It's like getting
a working relationship between the two as well.
Yeah, and getting the absolute most out of nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, how far can I stretch this budget?
Well, you see some of the ghoulies pop up in Troll and and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you've glued sideburns on him, and now he's this little force. It's wonderful. It's great.
It is, and it's genius because it's like economy filmmaking, and Ban, he was able to just continually like reuse stuff. I mean, again, very, very Corman-esque, but I mean, he continually was like, well, I don't have a budget, so they bought that castle over there.
No, for real.
That castle that all that stuff shot in, a lot of that stuff's like subspecies. He owned that castle. That's why you see it so often.
Whoa. Is that the same Castle Freak castle? Where'd Ben go?
I don't know. I think it is. And that I also recently saw a review of, and I'm curious about that.
That was. Now I need to rewatch that because I saw that maybe when I was like 12, and I remember being like, "Oh, this is pretty intense." There's like a lot of A lot of violence, a lot of like sexual violence.
Well, it's Gordon Green directed it.
Yeah,
so, I mean that's right in line with him.
It's good though. It's good, and Jeffrey Combs gives a hell of a performance. It's for because it's not. I wouldn't necessarily call Castle Freak elevated horror, but for what Full Moon put out, it's definitely a cut above in terms of overall presentation, even story, and it's really good.
Who was involved? That was Gordon, right? That was Stuart Gordon.
So
yeah.
Very loosely based on Lovecraft, as loose as you can get with that particular one. But I was watching a documentary about that, and he was talking about again how much they had to do with no money and like how quickly they had to do it.
Well, and I think that was one of the ones where they had like a title. And and had already sold it like based on that. And
Could
they're
be.
like, all right, we need you to make a movie that's got a castle and a freak. But otherwise you can do whatever you want. And so
Did they get like Frank Frazetta to do like there's a beautiful poster for it that
they might have got the poster ahead of time too. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, there's I would say that's another thing that Band did really well. That I can't state enough is every single one of those movies from Full Moon like jumped off the VHS rack.
Oh yes,
You like would walk through the video store and you'd be like, "Oh snap! Look at this."
Yeah,
Stuart Gordon saw art for the film in Charles Band's office, and
that is so bonkers.
Agreed to develop the film on Band's condition that the film take place in a castle, contain a freak, and would be on a very low budget.
I want one freak.
Gordon,
but it doesn't. It's a movie that
and would get final cut.
Yeah, it's a movie that doesn't. You're right. It's a movie that doesn't look low budget though.
Not at all. Not at all. I still think of like the ending confrontation in that movie. It's set on like the parapets of the castle, and there's a storm going on. It looks gorgeous.
It does.
Gorgeous.
It's really well done.
Yeah, and oh man, yeah.
It's pretty much a one building.
Yeah, I think they
well.
I think the entire thing takes place there. I think they're there at the castle.
I mean, if you got a castle.
I mean, I do think there's like a little bit that like doesn't Combs go to a bar in that and pick up
yeah,
night?
Yeah, because he brings the prostitute back. Yeah, she becomes a plot point.
Yeah, she does become a plot point.
Yeah. He does leave for, but yeah, I'd say everything outside of that probably is all on those castle grounds, and they shoot the hell out of it. They really do.
That was the same castle. So that Stuart Gordon also did the Pit and the Pendulum in the same castle.
That is another. That's also Full Moon, right? Or Empire?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That is a bonkers-esque movie. Like Lance Hendrickson is unchained in that movie.
Yeah. He's really. He's not usually sometimes he does chew the scenery a bit and stuff, but like he's doing it in such a different way in this one, and it's just like, whoa, Lance.
Yeah, he's decided like, oh, did you say I could go for it? And he like goes for it. Yeah, that is some wild ass Lance Hendrickson. I dare I say one of probably next to like Pumpkinhead, one of my favorite Lance Hendrickson performances.
Have you seen Stone Cold yet?
Come on, man. Come on.
I love him.
Who you talking to? Who you think you talking to, man?
When the guy brings that harmonica to the hospital, and he's like, "Hey, I brought your harmonica. Would you get that shit the fuck out of here?" He just flips out.
I mean,
love it.
First of all, I played football, so it was like by law we had to watch it because the boss was in it.
Yeah, dude. Why was he not a bigger star? He's solid. I'm sorry. Brian Bosworth is solid.
He's fun in that movie.
He's off doing He's doing stuff for PureFlix now, which is the
Oh no.
so he's
Hey man, he got off the juice and he got onto Jesus.
I guess now he's being in shit with Kevin Sorbo, and
He had a religious epiphany when Bo Jackson trucked him on Monday Night Football.
I did like because we watched a documentary on the Bois, and
Please tell me that documentary was called The Blizzard of Boz.
it was not. I can't remember what it was called, but it was interesting because he had the right, he like controlled his likeness and naming his name rights, where a lot of people didn't. And okay, something just fell over there, but that's a problem for later. So he, when he got signed, he had I can't remember what, there was some event or whatever, but he had put shirts out there that were both like, the Boz is great, and also I hate the Boz, or the Boz sucks. He was selling both of them and getting.
He was a genius.
I don't
care.
Yeah. No, he bet on himself.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I mean,
I'm going to see what tumbled over there, but I'm still listening.
Yeah. It's like WWE with the selling the We Hate Cena shirts. It's just, give me that money, please.
I mean, it's.
But with not as scummy as WWE, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to be as scummy as WWE.
I don't know.
Well, pro football, I guess, has its high level of scuzz as well. But
all right. So, in keeping with my thesis of
the Boss.
No. A Jake Hager action figure fell over and knocked over like 30 other figures. So it's always fuck Jake Hager o'clock.
Jake Hager can do nothing right.
I'll concur with that.
Jake, why?
He ruined my beloved Lucha Underground.
Big Strong.
Or they let him ruin it, I guess.
Remember like those first few seasons of Lucha Underground? How sweet that was?
Oh, it was so fucking good.
So fun.
Yeah.
Vampires and like cartels and stuff. It's just like,
I'm
here for it.
Ancient evils. Like, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of shit that someone like Charles Band could take from something like Lucha Underground and go buck wild with.
I wish there was somebody out there doing something like the old Santo movies.
Why don't you think
though and just have puppets fighting each other within like 3 weeks?
Why don't you think there is?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't know if there's the market for it in Mexico. Like, I'm sure there's a Mexican film industry still. I'm not tuned into it. But maybe but there's a lot less like the regional film. Not even regional, but our Hollywood has obliterated so much of movie making elsewhere around the world. So maybe there just isn't as much of
It seems like from just an outsider's perspective, Mexico's kind of seen right now. It reminds me a lot of like kind of Hollywood in the 90s, where there's still a little bit of that auteur holdover from like the 70s and stuff like that, but they haven't hit our stride of like franchise yet. So,
well, and I mean the other thing too is like, is there? And again, I'm not the person to ask because I'm not tuned in, but is there a star of that level? Like in that industry,
they all seem to, at least from what I gather, like as soon as you kind of get hot, you jump over.
Yeah,
here.
You get that money.
Yeah. Because like the lead in the last 2 Scream movies, she was a big telenovela star, I guess, and then jumped over here to start doing American pictures and stuff, and she's fantastic. I love those new Scream movies.
Yeah, I mean, like we've and the other thing too is the idea of actually having somebody who's a wrestler. Take that persona and bring it into like The Rock played The Rock for a while.
Yeah.
Now he's Dwayne Johnson, and Batista was immediately just like, no, I'm
I really respect Batista with his acting.
Oh no, yeah,
Like,
Batista's great.
He's really trying to become a character actor, and I respect the hell out of that.
He's putting in the work. Whereas over time, I've gotten my interest and respect for Dwayne has dwindled. It's been it's been inverse there.
Well, I think Dwayne was always a politicker.
Yeah.
And he just found a new way. He's always been a glad hander. He's always been a politicker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, I know that some people hate him, but I mean, Punk called that shit out very, very, very early. You weren't as good as Terry was at kissing ass, but you were certainly as good as Dwayne. And I think that's, there's something there's a whole lot of truth in a lot of those things. And I think wrestling got a lot of the similar kind of, it's not what you do, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Kind of feel to it. I mean,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I know Roman's on a transformative run here.
I'm really enjoying that horror thing
but,
right now.
But look at 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's finally got into his stride, but like his entirety of his run was all Family Connection based, like legit.
Well, they also they built a group around him in order to protect him, as far as like he had a bunch of heaters, and I think on top of that, they put him with Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
because it's not that he can't do a promo; it's that all of his promos are the exact same.
Yeah,
and he was always the guy in the Shield who was the guy who couldn't talk, which is saying something, because you're in a group with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins cannot talk.
What are you talking? Seth Rollins.
He's the worst.
No, that's
a guy who's completely overinflated.
And now it's just like, I can't just go away, please. I don't even want to see.
He's got X-Pac. He's got go away heat.
Oh shit, he does kind of have Pac heat down, doesn't he? A little, yeah.
I really do think he does. I think he got to a point where I think, again, someone backstage, much like I think they all do, is someone got in his ear and said, this is really working for you. Keep it up.
Yeah.
He's
15 writers from creative came down. We're like, we really love what you're doing.
And it was like, this like it?
Oh, yeah.
He loves it. He loves you.
You're the new Heath Ledger. You're the new Joker. Go with
it. He wants to make you a specialist boy.
Daddy Vance loves me.
Anyway, we are way out there.
We're so far off the tangent. It's great.
Sorry, I am a very unhappy boy. So, it's been a bad week.
Oh,
I'm sorry, man.
I mean, it's nothing anybody did. It's just, I guess if we're talking horror, I don't know if there's anything quite as personally frightening as the existential horror of realizing you're getting older because people are dying left and right.
Oh yeah.
So my uncle passed Monday.
Man,
I'm sorry.
So that is the last. I am now the oldest in that immediate family left. Everybody else gone.
Yeah. Like
that is it's a hell of a thing to like wrap your head around.
Yeah, that's been going on with like the last 2 years. Like I lost like a lot of aunts and uncles and stuff, and it's just it's strange to look all of a sudden around and be like, oh, I'm the elder my parents used to be when I was a kid. Like I'm the old guy now. Yeah, it's such a mind fuck. It is. It's so hard to wrap your head around. And yeah. Well,
it's always, looking back on a lot of things. It was like, talking about things like full moon. It's super cool because that stuff I enjoyed with like my dad, who's no longer with us, and
Yeah.
and not so much my uncle wasn't into all that, but my dad distinctly was. It was like we always watched horror together. So there was like a lot of those, the video store was kind of like a refuge. I don't know. I mean, again, I've got years on you buttholes.
Oh no, I was a video store rat. I was.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as I was more tail end video store stuff for me, but I was doing it.
Yeah, man.
Were you guys mom and pop video stores, or were you?
I was the type of family that would hit every video store in town in one sitting on the weekend to try to, so everyone could get what they wanted, or just to make sure. Maybe it was out at Mr. Movies, so you go to JC Video, then you go to Video Place, and then okay, maybe we got to go to Central Video over in Chisholm. We'll drive the 10 minutes. That's okay, don't worry. We did that, but then again, we were such a movie family. Like that was our weekend was usually
movies.
Yeah, we'd rent a big stack of them, usually at least 6. And then the weekend was just knocking them out and having popcorn, pizza, all that kind of junk around them. And it was so fun. So yeah.
Like that wasn't us. We weren't like a movie. We didn't watch movies together as a family. We didn't do a whole lot together as a family. So that was more late. That was later for me.
Family.
More like later high school. And then definitely, into the college where I was like, all right, this is my thing. But yeah, when we did rent stuff, and I would rent stuff and watch it on my own. It would just be wherever was handy, really. So Coburn's.
St. Cloud.
I've still got like Genesis games with the Premiere Video.
Yeah. You remember when grocery stores you could go and rent video games and movies from grocery stores?
Every wild, man.
Or even a convenience store. You go to a gas station and rent them. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Flashing back.
No, wild. That was a wild ass West times. Those are the before times.
The long ago. Oh my god.
Long ago.
Yeah, and then I think Hollywood came in and wiped out a lot of the local spots, like the regional type chains.
Yeah.
I was lucky in the way that I lived in such a small town that Blockbuster didn't come until like right around when I graduated.
Yeah, I don't know if St. Cloud ever got a Blockbuster.
Blockbuster came to Virginia, Minnesota, which was like 24 miles away from us. The biggest thing we got was a Mr. Movies, and that changed to a Family Video. But strangely enough, all the mom and pop stores it didn't affect them at all. There was this kind of, they all existed with each other. It was
unless you got, once you got that tanning salon going, you can take a little hit to the video business.
They all had the tanning booth.
They did. And they were usually right next door to a travel agency.
Yeah, or a pawn shop. So that's the other experience I had. Yeah. Oh my god. Yes, the tanning booth / video store. That was such a thing. Oh my god.
It really was. That was like it was a kind of it's sad to say, it's like a kind of a cultural touchstone of our particular kind of age gap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the video update I think was the big one that was kind of that I did a lot. Because it was between where I lived and like downtown St. Cloud, so I would just walk by it all the time and rent random shit. It's like, oh, we'll just go in there and that was at the point where I was starting to just like, I'm just gonna watch weird shit and stupid shit and make my friends watch it, or we'll all get together and watch weird stupid shit. So it's like, oh yeah, let's rent Tracks. Oh, Tracks is fucking awful. All right.
So that's the thing. That's the thing too. Is like that's what we did, and that's where I saw a lot of these Charles Band movies. Was I saw a lot of them when I was younger, but then when I got a little bit older and we started doing like Suck Movie Night, I believe it's what it was colloquially called, was we watched stuff like this. This was like we would drive 35 minutes to Chanute because they had a video warehouse because we'd rented everything everywhere else. we had to drive to get new fodder. But it was fun because we would all pile in one of my friend's car, and then we would literally be like, all right, we got 30 minutes to get movies. At 30 minutes, we're going back to Iola with or without the rest of us.
Yeah.
So like you had to rush around and rent what you wanted. Like it was kind of like supermarket sweep in there.
I love it. That's great. That's
But it's, I think that's for me when I think about like Empire Pictures and I think about Full Moon Production and all of the kind of offshoots of what band did, I can't help but think about like what I watched in those two time periods, and how bizarrely fundamental it ended up being.
Yeah.
That makes any sense?
No.
I mean, they're the Full Moon, especially they're the video store, like,
yeah,
like that's what they did.
They owned the video. I mean, they would. I think sometimes too. I've never heard him talk about it, whether that was a strategy or not. But I always got some of the impression, especially when I got older, that one of the things that companies like Full Moon, especially, who were like video store heavies, was they just put out so much shit to clog, so no one else got space on the rack.
Oh.
Well, and it's they would spend where they needed to.
Yep.
To at least, like the titles were interesting and the art was good.
Yeah.
And
well, like, they were. It was like they understood how to market. I think more than anything else, it was like
whether or not the movie inside the box is good, the box makes you want to see what it is.
Find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's we make movies, pal.
I mean, and that's it, especially when because into like as the 80s went on, in the 70s you had Corman, and there was a lot of smaller run theaters. Home video wasn't a thing, and you could make a movie on the cheap and it would hit theaters, people see it, and you could package it and whatever and get it out there. You couldn't do that in even by the like the mid 80s. Like the market had changed. It was video if you were going to do films of that like tier.
What I love about that though is Ban is still doing that, and like there's like such a like affection for it, like this, like there's no pretentious kind of bullshit. Lloyd Kaufman a lot like that too, where it's like, this is who I am, this is what I do.
Yeah,
like if you don't like it, then fuck off. Because I've been around doing this for a while, and guess what? I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. They both like they know what they're doing. They know how to excel at it. They know who their audience is, what their audience craves, and they're delivering fully. Yeah, no, completely.
They've got. I mean, what they've managed to do is they've managed to get the electrolytes that plants crave.
It's got what Full Moon's got what plants crave.
It does have what plants crave. I think that's extremely cool that is something that hasn't gone away. It hasn't died.
And
I appreciate somebody who can find like that niche and make it work for them. Just to be able to like, okay, this is what we can do. Our reach isn't going to exceed our grasp. We're going to make what we can make, and we're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And we've got our audience, and we're gonna keep serving that audience for as long as we can. It's such
an interesting thing to like. Again, there is a significant art to doing shit on the cheap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the fact that they've done that for so long, done it that way, and been successful at it. I just think it's fascinating to me.
Oh, it's quite the success story of just Charles Band is just it's insane, and how he's been able to pivot through so much, like just the early theater distribution into video stuff, and then now today, like with their full moon direct streaming stuff, it's just like he's figured out how to keep going with it. And at 71, there's no sign of him. There's no sign of him stopping at 71. Charles Band.
No, but I mean, look at Corman, the same thing. I think guys like that are just, for lack of a better term, I think they're just built different.
They are, they're the type of guys, they get that idea, and that idea has to get out. They have to manifest it, or something.
Or I mean, it might just be like, I just want to work.
Exactly. In that same vein, it's like they're driven. They're driven to keep going. Yeah.
Or not even, out of, I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious to, see how he feels about like it as art, or is it just, I just make movies. This is what I do,
My guess is honestly it's probably a little bit of both.
I was going to say, yeah,
it probably is.
He's got that businessman side, but then like I don't think you could do those. Maybe this sounds cheesy, but I don't think you could do those kind of practical effects. Keep doing that kind of toil and stuff without having a genuine love and care for it, and like kind of wanting to foster that. Like, we're going to keep doing this kind of stuff. This is what I know. Yeah. This is what I love. We're going to keep, and because if it was the cheap, they could easily just switch to being like the Asylum and just plug that effect in there.
We're just going to do Yeah, I've never really gotten the sense from any of the not that I've watched much of it, but like the Asylum stuff, that anybody is there like trying to do a good job with what they have. It's just we know what this is. It's assembly line, garbage.
We
have Lorenzo Lamas for 4 days. Let's use him.
I mean, that's all. That's just some of that is just modern movies, though. Too. I mean.
Oh yeah,
I have been watching Mr. Gigi destroy Steven Seagal shit repetitively for a while now, and it's because he's just a guy who's just sponging off of his name.
Yeah.
And that's the mark, or the way they finance that stuff is crazy to me. And that's also basically been the last however many, dozen Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
And
that shit is so sad.
Well, now that we know all about it, it's sad.
Yeah, at first,
before we knew, it's like, what the fuck is he doing?
It's like, why is he doing all this shit?
Yeah.
Now it's like,
but and all that stuff is literally, they've got like a title and a star attached, and they'll go to freaking like, Ukraine and say, hey, how many of this will you buy? And then they'll go to Czechoslovakia, how many of this will you buy? And once they hit a certain point, they're like, all right, we'll make that movie because we pre-sold X number of units at
So when you say it that way, Matt, all I can think of is cheeseburger. But only Pepsi.
And I mean that's the whole model for some of these films,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if that's what works, but again, somebody somewhere in that process is probably doing it for the love of filmmaking or storytelling or gaffing or whatever it is. But just the weird, mercenary nature of it is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like we're just making a thing because we know we can sell it. It's not, here's this story about, Steven Seagal, overturning human trafficking or whatever, like that I've always wanted to tell. It's not. There's nothing like that. And the Steven Seagal stuff is inadvertently hilarious because, and I haven't seen much of his recent work, but he can't do anything.
Sits down all the time now and does.
So he'll just he just teleports. Basically, in most of these movies, he's like Michael Myers because he's not gonna.
God, I would love to see a Steven Seagal slasher.
Oh yeah.
That would be amazing.
And Steven Seagal has always sucked. I mean, let's be fair.
I never understood that. Like, I remember back in the day, like, when like Arnold and Sly were still hot.
Yeah.
When people would bring up Seagal, I'd be like, I don't get his
chunky
movies always were like, I mean,
like Under Siege was all right.
I'll give it up for Under Siege. Okay, yeah. But that's mostly Tommy Lee Jones in that movie for me. Yeah. He's great.
I've seen some, even like his early stuff. And it's like, this is crap. Like, how are you anything in a world where Arnold and Stallone are still, I mean, they're doing more comedies and other stuff, but then you've got fucking Jackie Chan at his peak. You've got Jean-Claude Van Damme at his peak.
Yes.
And it's like,
I think what happened was he was easily marketable because he is a non-person.
Like, maybe. And everybody saw
that. If that makes any sense. Like, he has no personality, discernible personality.
Well, the more you find out about his personality, the less likable he is. That's for goddamn sure.
Oh, but, I mean, there's just like nothing to him. Like
he's a blank slate.
He's a blank. He is Michael Myers.
I suppose he's
the shape.
I want to be able to defeat a room full of thugs just by grabbing their wrist and then have them fucking do a backflip because I just did this.
Yeah,
I suppose there's the fantasy of that for people, but I don't. It's like you don't do anything.
No,
no, yeah. He just and then like, even to look at him, like, he was just, I don't know. He never screamed action star to me. Even like Jackie Chan screams action star more, short little Jackie Chan, than Steven Seagal does to me ever.
Then big shapely Steve.
Yeah, big shapely Steve, who with his weird run.
Steven Seagal is the guy that Jackie Chan would hit with a freaking ladder.
Like, yeah.
He's not.
He's the guy that Gene LaBelle makes
guy. He's the shitty stuntman.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy looks
Bolo Young with no talent.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. The career of Steven Seagal.
I love that I got you to crack on that.
And now he's a fucking shitty he's in tight with all those fucking dictators and shit, whatever. So
yeah. And he's like
it's not too different than some other people.
Yeah.
who then get elected to fucking public office.
I guess we should be glad that Steven Seagal isn't that ambitious.
Well, I mean, he'd have to read. Oh wait, no, he wouldn't, because I just watched one of those people, one of those brain surgeons try to pull a gotcha on a, I want to say it was a municipal commissioner for DC, and by the time it was over, he literally was like, "Did you read any thing? Like, are you just saying words? Because none of what you've said actually went through, nor did I propose any of that. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to come at me, and that's fine. I kind of expected it, but like, you could do me the common courtesy of actually like knowing what I actually did.
Like being at all prepared.
Yeah. I mean, like you're. It almost came off like dude was like, I feel bad for you because you're not good at this. Like you're not even like state rep good at this. Like you should talk to someone more competent. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that.
Oh, good
tangent, because I'm sure someone out there is like, "We should just talk about the movie."
Why are they talking about the puppets? Well, my favorite puppet is Blade, the one with the little knife hand. Are you happy?
Oh yeah.
And see, Puppet Master I was aware of because they did that. Like, it was the late '90s action figure boom, and that was
they kind of got popular.
Here's a bunch of Puppet Master action figures. I'm like, I don't know anything about this except for the toys, and apparently they're puppets. I don't know. And some of the designs were interesting enough that I was like, oh, okay. I never bought any, but I've seen what the Puppet Master was the Origin one or whatever. Because I think it was a Rift Tracks, and because it stars Retro Puppet Master, yes, and because it stars the non-Tommy Wiseau lead from
Craig Sestro.
Yes, Craig Sestro. So
sad that I know all this.
No, I it's in my head too. It wasn't clicking.
Was Retro Puppet Master the one that the guys from the state did?
No, the guys. Tom Lennon from the state.
Yeah.
Puppet
I always forget Tom Lennon was in the state.
Puppet Master, what now?
The Littlest
Reich.
Oh wow.
It's actually actually a really solid one. He knows what he's doing. Tom Lennon there, it's.
Tom Lennon. I mean, yeah,
I like him a lot.
He was in another. He was involved in another like very interesting horror movie as well.
I can't remember the name of it. I want to say it's Demon Baby, but it's like, it's someone it was. I can't remember much of what happened except
he did Hell Baby.
Hell Baby, that's it. Yes, Hell Baby.
I keep thinking though he was involved in a, like a franchise though too, where it was like one of those things where he got involved in it because he was
behind the scenes.
Well, because he was a fan, where he was like, "Oh, I want to be where this is happening."
I can't think. But those are the two I know for sure. Is Hell Baby and Hellraiser. Puppet Master.
Hell Baby's got a solid cast for sure.
It's a lot of really good comedic actors and comedians in there. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
I think that when you get some of those people who, again, they grew up on these things like we did, they want to enjoy them. They want them to stick around. They want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's super cool. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about, when as frustrating as Kevin Smith can be, he had the quote one time where he said, "I got into movies to get into comics." And I think that's awesome. I mean, that's really neat. Like, now granted, I think that he's done almost more harm than good in his comics.
What? You didn't want to know that Batman wet his pants once?
Oh, God. That to me is not near as bad as like the stuff he was doing in Spider-Man with the Black Cat.
Oh yeah. Spider-Man. Yeah, never mind. I forgot all about that.
But that all got stopped because he can't do anything on time.
Oh no.
It did end up getting finished.
Did it really get finished?
Yeah, that one did.
He didn't even finish Cacophony, did he?
No, that never did get finished. Or no,
the Widening Gyre.
Yeah,
One of them did get finished, and then led it into the next one, and then didn't get finished.
Yeah, I can't remember which one is which, but doesn't it? Or, I don't know. Spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. But doesn't it like the cliffhangers? Like, isn't it like Silver Sable or something getting like throat?
Silver St. Cloud.
Yeah, and it's like you reveal that the one guy was onomatopoeia the whole time, and it's like, and then now we're done.
Very fun character. I do like onomatopoeia, but only one that would ever work on the page ever. Like
onomatopoeia is apparently in this season of Superman and Lois.
Really?
Now that I say that, didn't they actually someone try to do him maybe on?
He might have
possibly been Arrow.
He might have been, but no, he's in the current he's like the villain in the current season of Superman and Lois apparently. So
how does he fit?
I don't know. I don't watch this. I just saw something and I'm like, that's interesting.
I have questions.
Speaking of interesting and very mostly unrelated, but more related maybe than what we have been talking about. I'm just gonna drop this link in the chat here for you. Private chat here for you. That is queued up to the chorus. This is Alex Band. One of Charles Band's sons was
one of the spawn of band
and songwriter of this band, whose song you will recognize, I think. This would be the only one you would recognize. But
That really?
yeah,
For real though, man?
yes, for real though, for really real.
Oh,
Reals. That is bonkers.
those
That's
bands.
that's bonkers.
I mean, the chat has no idea what's going on. Nobody can hear it, so
It's
you
the
can play
college.
up to 30 seconds of it without getting flagged. So
I wouldn't give the colleague 30 seconds. They get no love. No love, Dr. Jones.
but yes, that is my weird Charles Band fact.
Huh. What the heck?
That's so bonkers. Like that is just insane. Like
Now,
new every day.
I forgot that Oblivion was full moon. I've definitely seen at least the first one. Again, thanks to Riff Tracks.
That's my mom rented that based on the cover. She's like, "Oh, I think you'd enjoy this," and we all like sat there and trashed the movie and like her taste. Like, really, you thought this? Like, and she's like, "Colin picked it. Colin picked it." I was like, "No, I didn't. You lied."
I don't think I've seen Oblivion. Like it's not ringing a bell.
It's wonderful.
It's a sci-fi western. Peter David wrote it.
Really?
So,
whoa.
Now that you say it's a sci-fi western, I start to think I have seen it. I think I saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel.
It's really bad. One of the
watch the Riff Tracks.
One of the Batman cat ladies is in it. And
Julie Noir.
Yeah, and she's like she's got a cat theme going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's this one part where this guy gets hurt, and she's like,
that feels like
it's the cringy.
That feels like they cast the movie and then Peter David went in and rewrote stuff.
Yeah,
or he had a spec script just sitting out somewhere.
Isaac Hayes is in it. We also got
what's her name?
Sulu.
I can't
believe
George Sakai.
Yes, George
Sakai's in it.
Oh,
what's her name from They Live?
Yes,
Meg Foster with the amazing eyes.
Meg Foster, yes, Meg Foster's in it. She's a robot.
I mean, this all sounds like it checks out to me.
Andrew Divoff, the guy who played the Wishmaster, is a evil lizard man with one eye.
It's not like good, but
and
there was also a sequel.
Yes, both are available on Riff Tracks, and both are. I own them. I own the Riff Tracks versions of them. They're wonderful. But even outside of the Riff Tracks, they are both so bad they're good movies that they're just so enjoyable to trash.
But I think that's an art in itself, you know. Like,
yeah.
I think that's another thing of like, I think more than any other studio I can remember watching, you know, our product. It's hard for me to kind of figure out what we would refer to that as. Mm-hmm. Full moon, when they hit, you know, you get something fun like Subspecies.
Yeah,
I enjoy. I mean, unironically.
I still like, to this day, I go out of my way to pop in Puppet Master 2 and 3 every so often, stuff like even though there's things like in Subspecies and all that stuff, you can see things. It's like these are obviously B movies. There's things we could take apart, but there is an actual, honest to God, like charm in a lot of these, and even beyond charm, like legit skill in some of the things that they did. Like, and you can't deny it.
And I think that's what I like. Even like Trancers.
Yeah.
Even though it turned out to not be scanners.
Where's the head? Where's the explosion?
I heard that there was a head explosion in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
And it's this little guy fighting off gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what is
Dollman's all in this business. But I think when I think about all that is like, you're exactly right. There's like, most of those movies are either so good they're bad,
Or the yeah.
or so bad they're good, or they're just legit fun,
Yeah.
legitimately fun movies that you can hang out and, back in the day when I would drink beer or any adult beverage, you could
Mhm.
just hang out and, you know, just
Yeah.
hammer down tasty adult beverages too.
Yeah. But even so, it's just like they're just straight up like the best word I can just use is they're charming. They're it's just top to bottom. Even with the bad acting in places and like the obvious, it's like, oh, I can see the
Yeah.
wires there or whatever. That those kind of moments, there's still something that will bring you back, or the thing that catches your eye. The like, I mean, to like put it against like something like the Asylum, they do all those mockbusters, so there's
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
they're J.K. Rowling of movies.
it's all derivative. It's something taken from something else,
Yeah.
and you could say there's little bits of traces of DNA of some other things in certain movies under the Charles Band umbrella, like, oh, Robot Jacks, like giant mechs. Maybe he got the idea of that from this or something like that. But there's
Well, I
so
mean, it
much
got
more.
ripped off later in Real Steel. I mean, they just did it with a budget.
Oh yeah,
With a
but
star.
like there's still so much. For as dumb as something as maybe Corona Zombies is, it's still got so much more original meat on the bone than hell, like even some of the big like blockbusters out now, like that are just like, oh, we're just remaking this video game, or we're making this comic and we're not going to pay the artists or the writer or anything. But like, sorry, but like, yeah, like they're just, yeah, I don't know. For as schlocky
I'm going to do a shot for shot remake of Psycho.
Thank you, Gus Van Sant, for that fucking wonderful. I don't know. I like his. I love Good Will Hunting, but yeah, screw Psycho, the remake. That was terrible. Oh, no, wait. The one thing he did add was we get to see Norman Bates jacking off.
Well, there you go.
Because that's what I've always wanted is watch Vince Vaughn.
I wanted to hear Vince Vaughn heavy breathing with the sound of something wet slapping in the background.
And I already think even though he also enjoys the D's and D's, he is a giant jerk off.
That is unfortunate. Yeah, he seems to be kind of a douche bee, but he does like those D&Ds, everybody.
Which is always funny to I saw a picture from Gary Con.
Yeah.
Of he and Tom Morello.
How are they friends?
Because they play in the same D&D group. They play in Joe Manganiello's D&D group. Which someone pointed out.
Show?
Yeah, and a couple, and like the two showrunners from Game of Thrones. And
yeah.
It's a weird confluence of people. But I thought it was really funny was there were people who were just like, how are these two people like at all involved with one another? And one of the people in the thread was like, good to see Vinny doing his thing. Can't really get behind Tom Morello. He's too liberal for me. And someone's next response was, and that's why you'll never see someone who's different than you at your table. Your homogenized table.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well, actually, no, think about it. I think he and Favreau are actually like really good friends. Morello. And I think that's the connection because he's actually been in a ton of his movies in small little parts. Like he was in Iron Man and Maid. And
Tom Morello was?
Yeah. Tom Morello in Maid, he's like, there's a thing with all these, like it's a bachelor party or something like that. And I think like Jon Favreau's character has to like kind of like intimidate them because they're getting really handsy with like a dancer. And he's like one of the guys. And then in the first Iron Man, he's like one of the terrorists in the cave and stuff like that, which is it's just and there's a few others after that where he pops up and it's just like that's Tom Morello. That's a shred god right there.
That is weird to know.
Yeah. It's especially it's really weird like, I don't know. And for some reason, my brain does a short circuit where it's like Tom Morello's playing a terrorist in a cave. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This does not compute with me. But
Tom Morello got to eat, I guess. I don't know.
Tom Morello need a paycheck.
Oh, yeah, Tom Morello got a house payment due.
Tom Morello making a stew, baby.
God damn it.
I'd like to think he is like the real life Carl Weathers of that, like kind of Tom Morello's making a stew, baby.
God, I feel like
we're all over the place tonight.
Yeah, I
but
feel
it's
like
not the worst.
I feel like we kind of talked about Full Moon.
More actual like background history than like the movies, but not bad.
So just kind of want to hit a couple of points then. Like what are your favorite Full Moon features? Like what are some that you look at now that you've seen that you're like, I can go back to that movie repetitively because I enjoy it, and it's kind of it's nom 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 comfort food. I stab myself in the lip with my fingernail.
Oh no.
Definitely for me, like the Puppet Masters, definitely at least 2 and 3. I can watch those over and over again.
Okay, remind me, is 2 the one that's basically the first like 20 minutes is just part 1? It's like it was like kind of like Evil Dead 2 is kind of like parts of Evil Dead 1, and then it's like, look, we did these other things too.
It might be because like 3 is a prequel to all of them, and like I think 2 they do a bit of catch up, and then because it shifts. Yeah, 2 does it's got zombies in it and all sorts of stuff. It's fun.
Is that the one with the mummy guys who repeat themselves?
That no, that's 4 and 5. Those are emissaries of a demon.
Yeah, there were points in Puppet Master history where they were just pumping out movies.
Oh yeah,
so fast I could not keep up.
Yeah,
and I tried to keep up.
Those 2 for sure, and then like Subspecies every once in a while I'll go back to, and then outside of that, like there's these 2 robot kind of movies that he had a hand in, Crash and Burn and Robot Jocks, and both of those for some reason have just stayed with me, and they're mac and cheese to me. They're comfort food. I can go just
Robot Jocks for sure. I don't think I've ever watched Crash and Burn. I've heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it.
That's another kind of like Castle Freak one where it's like
do you think I mean, kind of thinking about it now, because I was watching someone talk about like 80s Aussie movies, do you think there's ever going to be any chance that we're going to see any type of situation where we will get modern movies? They're going to be done that quickly, that reasonably done, solid quality, in a current Hollywood status. You understand what I'm saying? Like that, those that we were getting all these movies when we were kids. And again, I hate to sound like old man yells at cloud.
Yeah.
But like we got all these relatively low budget movies, like something like Razorback, where it's not a big budget movie, but fuck if it's not super entertaining. I mean, I would definitely put that on before I would put on some of the current crop of movies that are out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I think there's still stuff kind of coming out on streaming, and via that sort of thing that falls into that category. I think it's probably a lot harder to find, and I don't know if but it's there. And I'll be curious, but as far as seeing that stuff in theaters, I just don't know, because it's so you have to. The idea of here's a movie and it can just make a couple $1 million, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's not a thing anymore. No. There just isn't a place that can do that and survive.
What about what is it? Elijah Wood's little art house horror thing?
Yeah.
You think that at all? has legs for those types of productions?
I mean, I don't know. I think before we can ever see that again, I think we're gonna need to see the collapse of kind of the current trends in wanting these like the glut of like superhero movies and all this stuff. As much as I enjoy them, I think that's become such the dominating trend behind everyone who runs these studios. Is we got to have these big gigantic movies, and they're outside of like, and it's weird because like I think of like studios like A24 who like they make like these movies now that used to be these would be the movies that studios would put out like in between all their whatevers throughout the year, and now it's become so niche that one studio is like the one thing putting them out. And like because there used to be the big summer movies, and then in between that you'd have like just think of all these movies that came out in like the 90s and stuff, like in the 80s and the 70s. You had this glut of all these movies that were not marketed for like the teen market or for the comic book market or whatever it is, and like you get all these different things, these thoughtful dramas, these weird thrillers, these horror movies that had a chance to stand on their own legs, action drama, and now you just don't see that. Everything is so much more homogenized.
Well, and I think some of that too is in a world where you can tailor your consumption specifically to you. Like it's not
that too.
We don't have a situation anymore where it's like, well, here's a double feature and I'm going to see something weird, or kung fu movies are really popular in like New York, and then from there, like it grew into a national phenomenon. Like it's very easy for somebody to just not see a thing. Like you don't get like a trend almost like that unless it's you've got a lot of like dollars and marketing behind it. And it seems like, I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know, but what I'm seeing a lot of with that is the attention spans aren't there for movies either.
That's true.
With younger audiences. So that's another thing, what does the future hold? Is it just going to be, here's the Puppet Master, the TikTok?
I think it'll be platform shows like what we get on Disney Plus.
And they're actually starting to do that a little bit now with Full Moon's product. Actually, they're putting these things out in little, like what they're calling chapter installments and things.
Didn't they do like a Lovecraft, like an update to what was it? Was it From Beyond or something like that, where they did like Miskatonic?
Yes. There's the whole. I had the Full Moon app for a few months, and like it's just full of, just glutted with all that stuff. Like, and I don't know. That's a little disheartening to think of. Just that they're even starting to follow that trend of like the TikTok, like Quibi bite-sized entertainment.
But I think that is kind of unfortunately like follow that trend or die. Die on the vine.
And maybe it changes around. If you get into that zone, you can help change it to something else. But I don't know.
And also and to speak just what you touched on, Matt, like just like how people can, I like totally spaced on this, just how we can totally like just cater our interests, just completely like zero in on like, this is what I like and this is what I'm doing now. What's going on in the theaters, I don't even know. Here's what I like though, and I'm just gonna keep going with this content over and over, and like you could totally space out and not see new things anymore,
which sucks because there's been so much of that. Like I think of even just stuff that I've seen in the last couple of years that if I hadn't read the right article or somebody hadn't mentioned it, that I would have never gone to check it out. Even something like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, I'm excited about this based on the cast and what I've heard about it, but it was definitely one of those things where if the right thing hadn't put itself in front of me, I probably wouldn't have gotten to see it. Same deal. I mean, I went because I like George Miller, but 3,000 Years of Longing, which I really enjoyed, and it seemed like that just went under most people's radars.
Yeah. That's. I feel like we go back like 20 years. That would have been a movie that would have probably been up for like awards contention and stuff like that, and that would have been talked about. It would have been seen, but it somehow like
just kind of slid through. And there's so much of that out there that I'm sure I'm missing right now.
Yeah. It's just but I don't know. I mean, obviously there is hope because I mean, I guess as taste change, like you can still get someone to put together a really fun genre movie. Like Hulu, great. That was wonderful. I loved that. That's such a streamlined, fun little thing, even though a continuation of a big franchise. But still a very fun thing. But also like, I don't know, I don't know. There's just so much out there on that kind of a set, and things have been able to get some legs with streaming. Like I think of what was it? That Malignant movie that I think James Wan did. I mean,
that movie is bonkers.
It's so bonkers, and who knows if that was given that traditional theatrical run, if people would have been there for it. But you're stuck inside, pandemic times. We're gonna put it on HBO, and all of a sudden, have you seen this movie that's got this? I don't want to give it away because it's still kind of fresh, but some bonkers shit going on in that movie.
No, that movie feels like someone who's making a movie that they're like, I want to make what I want to make. No one gets to tell me no on this one.
Yeah. It's such a pulpy, fun throwback idea. Very, like Stephen King-y kind of funness.
It's interesting, but stuff is still, like I know I've recommended it to Ben. He still hasn't watched it, I had only heard about it because there was like I was listening to a podcast and they're like, hey, everybody just bring the weirdest show like streaming thing that nobody has seen but you, that you know of, and 30 coins, and it's on HBO Max. It's Italian.
Ooh.
And I don't want to say too much about it, but it's basically if you like the Hellboy comics, it's got some Hellboy elements to it. There's the small town in Italy or Spain. It's Spain. Sorry, it's Spanish.
Okay.
And a new priest has come to take over the church, and weird shit is happening.
Ooh, okay.
I don't want to say much more than that because even just the monster in the first episode, I was just like, what the fuck? And the production quality is really high, and it goes like bonkers really quick, and the stakes raise, and it's funny and it's well acted. Anyway, 30 coins. It's on HBO Max. Check it out.
You'll do.
We burned through it really quick. They're filming the second season now. I guess Paul Giamatti's going to be in it, so hopefully he'll get some eyes on it. I don't know.
The Mahdi?
Yes.
You mean the Rhino himself?
Yes. Man, yeah.
Oh, that was a horror movie.
Proof that even really, really, really good actors can take really, really bad roles.
Oh yes,
that they are definitely not suited for.
And Mitch has an interesting point there in the chat.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I've been real bad with chat tonight.
No, that's okay. And I welcome Mitch, by the way. But I didn't have that with music as a thing, as a whole. But there are definitely genres of music where I'm like, I hate this genre, and it was just that I hadn't found the right parts of I'm like, fuck country music. Country music is bullshit, and I hate it. And then I listened to country music from different time periods that wasn't being listened to by all the guys who treated me like shit in junior high, And it's like, oh no, there's really good stuff here, and those guys are fucking dicks, and with shitty taste in music. All right.
Yeah.
It's fair. Checks out.
But yeah, it does. I mean, it does. Like the algorithm tries on a lot of this stuff to be like, here's, a thing that you might like based on what you've watched, but it really is just like, well, somebody went in and put flags on this that tick all the same boxes.
Mhm.
So you're still, you might get a little bit outside of that lane, but you're still pretty much in it.
Yeah.
You're not going to find like, oh, this is I don't know. Like, I'm trying to imagine a world where,
In a world.
like,
Sorry.
of all the different types of movies that I enjoy, like, I don't see how you get, like, there isn't an algorithm, and that's probably a good thing because that would be freaky. But you don't, I don't know how you don't get from like, fucking, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some very different movies that I enjoy.
Lady
Like,
Battlefield.
I gotta watch that too.
Yeah, don't give me any grief about your show until you've seen Lady Battlefield. I can't even say it with a straight face because I literally, Matt's been like, "Did you watch it yet?" And I've been like, "No, I haven't for like what, 4 months, 5 months."
Oh, it's been longer than that. it's been like a year at least.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
But to go from something like like there isn't a road that takes you from RoboCop to like Houseu. Like no algorithm in the world is going to be like, if you enjoyed this, you should watch that, and
it's fair.
And I did. I enjoy both of those, or it's or just ridiculous shit that's also not those things. Like, oh yeah, here's a a weird ninja movie where a dude lights himself and his horse on fire and rides into a crowd of people, and it's like, okay, sure.
As you do, come on.
Yeah, it didn't pay off for him, but I think it might be. I think Rob Liefeld probably saw that movie at some point, in California in the 80s or whatever, because there's a character that's got the big Shatterstar like headpiece, and I'm like, oh, like he had to have seen this because that he uses that on so many fucking characters, and it's not a thing anywhere.
I don't know. If I know Rob Liefeld, like all his ideas are pretty original, and I can't say.
I was just getting ready to say some smarty ass shit, and you were like, "No, wait,
no,
this is the spot on the road where there's only one set of footprints."
Yeah,
that's where I carried you.
I've got to dig out. I got that I know Sonny Chiba is in the movie, but I can't remember the name of the fucking movie because I bought
Street Fighter.
Sister Street Fighter.
I mean, Street Fighter. Don't get me wrong, the Street Fighter series is
they're great.
No, this was like it was probably late 80s. And I got it in they released one box set of Shadow Warriors, which was
that was
it was a ninja TV show from Japan and it came out because of Kill Bill, this DVD box set, because he plays every season of the show. They would jump forward a generation.
Oh, okay.
And so Sonny Chiba would always be playing like his descendant. And he's always a ninja, and there's the time period would change around him. So his character in Kill Bill is like the latest descendant in that line because Tarantino saw this series on TV back in the 80s. Because there's the big Japanese population out in California.
Hattori Hanzo,
and it was the Americanized version of Shogun.
Oh, are we talking about
Shogun Assassin?
Yeah.
Anyway,
love Shogun Assassin.
And the show I watched the whole show and it was great in that it's got like that 80. It's an 80s TV show, so like production quality is good, but it's still, there's parts of it where it's like, oh no, this is just like if you were to like take the crew and budget of like an A-Team or Knight Rider episode but instead it's about ninjas, and also it's 80s in Japan, so their base is in a bathhouse, so there's just lots of tits for no reason.
Let's say
and
for a second
show
there,
around.
it sounded like you were trying to sell me on a Cinemax version of the A-Team, and I was like, sold.
I mean, it's the A-Team with ninjas and tits.
God,
There.
what a pitch meeting that would be.
Yeah. And it's solid. But anyway, as part of that box set, they had like here's your bonus disc with just random ninja movies, featuring Sonny Chiba. And
Nice.
I'm like, oh, okay. And it was one of those. I got to figure out what the hell it was, because man, it was wild. Dude just pours kerosene all over himself and rides into the middle of a crowd of guys totally on fire.
I do love me some. Chiba's another guy who like we started watching that stuff in high school. It was like driving to the video store. Driving to the video store, we're gonna rent bad movies.
Is that how you saw Black Belt Jones?
Yeah, I saw Hot Potato first, actually, believe it or not.
And
that
you,
was
and you
like,
still decided to seek out
man, Jim Kelly did other movies besides
Enter the Dragon?
Besides Enter the Dragon? How did we not know about this shit?
He did one that's got like zombies and he fights a vulture and has a jetpack.
Matthew, I did not know about this.
Oh yeah, it's not good, but
it sounds goddamn transcendent.
He also was in a movie called Three the Hard Way.
Yeah,
which has
Three the Hard Way,
which has Richard Roundtree and what's his name?
Hasn't that been remade too?
I don't know. I do love that. I do love his character in though, because his character's name is Mr. Something, and like he gets pulled over by the cops, and the cops are like, "Let me see your license, boy," and he gives him his license, and his name is Mr. Whatever. Like that's what it says on his driver's license. Like your first name is Mr. He's like, my mama wanted people to treat me with respect, and then he fucking kicks the cop in the face. Like that's awesome. Might have been Fred Williamson who was also in that.
Yeah, Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, and Jim Kelly.
Oh man,
I think I've seen this movie.
It's again not like great, but it's
is at least as good as East Meets Watts.
I don't know if I've seen that.
What?
Oh, and I'm pretty sure
there's a riff tracks of
East Meets Watts
that is amazing.
I'm pretty sure the one that has where he fights a vulture. Yep. Oh, it totally is. Black Samurai, Agent for Dragon.
Ooh.
Dan Lee called and he wants to steal everything you just said. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something. But yeah, he's definitely
sounds spectacular.
I'm pretty sure that's the one where he's got a jetpack.
I want a jetpack.
By which they have him on a crane, I think. But
just like they do on The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Now I need to find this other one, Golden Needles, because it's got Jim Kelly and Jodan Baker.
Oh,
I'm very hit and miss on Jodan.
I love that man. Like the energy he brings to every project. Whew.
It contains. They're trying to find a priceless ancient Chinese statue because it contains 7 youth restoring acupuncture needles.
That sounds boss. Like that sounds pretty cool.
Probably awful, but it's got Jim Kelly and Jodan Baker and Burgess Meredith. So
and Burgess
Meredith.
Jesus. Okay. What's this? Golden Needles?
Golden Needles.
Woo! Can look for this.
So yeah, that's what we're all about here is making connections. All right, guys.
Yeah.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite, and what full moon movie would you recommend to other people?
Oh,
okay. The whole thing's on YouTube, so that's good. Anyway, because I haven't seen very many of them, I'm gonna say Laser Blast. Either the actual movie or the Rift Tracks version. It's not great, but it's memorable.
It's very memorable.
I really need to see Arena and Eliminators. I think
I've seen Eliminators because it had the super sweet cover
Yeah.
where the guy is wearing a welding mask.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same one you're thinking of.
Oh wait.
Eliminators has the Manborg with tank legs.
No, it's not Eliminators.
Exterminator.
Oh, there's the
Isn't that the dude
Exterminator.
when he's got the flamethrower?
Yeah, yep.
That's the one I'm thinking of, right?
No. You're thinking of the Exterminator.
Okay.
Which has the guy in like the motorcycle helmet with the flamethrower.
Yeah, I thought it was a welder's mask for some reason, but
no, you need to go look up the Eliminators right now and tell me if that.
I already know what John Cronitz and Perry Saturn look like. Damn it, Matt.
Because I think the Eliminators is on Tubi, so I'm probably gonna watch that this week.
Probably, yeah.
Because it's got a Manborg and a ninja.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen what you're talking about. Yeah, because the guy gets like tank treads.
Yes. Well, he starts with tank because there's time travel.
Yeah, that movie's weird. It's real weird.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be.
It's very weird. I mean, it's one of those movies where you're like, I think I know what you're going for here, and then you go, no, I don't.
No,
I take that back. I'm way off. Sorry, but I was confused and I thought I knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Certainly do not.
So, Colin, what's your recommend?
Me.
What would you use as a gateway drug, and what would you recommend?
Okay, gateway into everything. I think the best way to do it. Puppet Master 2. I think it strikes a good balance of fun, and you can also see the artistry behind all their practical effects when it's firing on all cylinders. That's like, and then oh god, like my honest to goodness, like seek this out. Gosh. Well, I mean, putting aside like stuff like From Beyond, Reanimator, all that stuff from that side of things, I'd have to say
those were all Empire, right?
Yeah. So sticking strictly within Full Moon, I'd say dip your toes in Puppet Master 2. But when you're feeling like the water is just warm and you're ready to slide right on in, go for Castle Freak.
That's actually what I would say for mine too. It's like, good boys use the door, but bad boys get wet. Watch Castle Freak. Which is me riffing on a Mim Bim Bam line. When they're talking about water slides. Sure, Jeremy, our water slides have doors. Good boys use doors, but bad boys get wet. Anyway, I think if I had to gateway it, I would probably say I really, really actually love that first Subspecies movie a lot.
I watched them last night. That first one's still pretty fun. It's still really
there's
good.
There's like a werewolf-esque movie too that they have. I can't think what it's Meridian. Blood Meridian? No, Blood Meridian's the Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, that's Cormac McCarthy. Yeah.
Horrific novel.
Yeah.
I think it's called Meridian. I believe it's not a werewolf movie. It's like Lady Hawk, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing.
Oh, love Lady Hawk.
Do a quick look up. Yes, it is Meridian. It's got Sherilyn Fenn in it. Meow. I enjoy this movie. I think it's again, it's one of those flicks where their reach almost exceeds its grasp, kind of like with Pit and the Pendulum and some of that other stuff. Whereas I think Castle Freak is like the perfect wheelhouse, like they just hit it out of the park. So I think, that those would be, and they're fun. They're fun movies. That's the other thing. And yes, Mitch, I saw your
Corn Moon.
Corn Moon.
Beautiful.
But I think those are good places to start. And I know
Yeah.
we're all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
But what are we going to talk about in April? I was kind of thinking maybe we pick a movie and just talk about a movie. Maybe even try to find a movie that would be on Amazon Prime, and maybe even do a watch along.
Yes. Yes.
If you want to find something on Prime, we can do that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I know
I'm into that, or even you could just show parts of it, But yeah, that would be good.
I think it would be good. Also, Colin, you weren't there last week, but I'm going to run this through you now.
Yeah.
Feeling me reaching through my screen. You touching your screen, me touching my screen.
You feel the power.
Feel the power, baby. That's hard times.
I hold it in my hand.
So we deal in lead.
Yeah.
The knot has been making its way through the wastes, leaving husks of town in its wake. And by knot, I mean the true knot. I don't know what's happening right now. I just like the idea of it's kind of got a little bit of Salem's Lot to it, a little bit of Dr. I like the True Knot. I think they're creepy villains. And I also, like we were talking about this last week, is I kind of like the idea of it's got a very Western vibe. It's almost you could almost make it have a very Bone Tomahawk vibe if you wanted.
Ooh, yeah.
So
definitely.
Anyway, I wanted to throw that out at you because it popped into my head when I was going. I think I was getting up to go to the bathroom, and I was like, I gotta write this down in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. All right.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I will be here tomorrow. I haven't heard from Beard if we're doing Squadrons or not. If we don't do Squadrons, I think I'll probably, if there's no Squadrons tomorrow, and we did Dreams in the Witch House last Friday, which was super fun, I think I'll do Giga Bash, which is a kaiju fighting game. So, yeah, we'll just do some punching and smashing for an hour. But Matthew, where can people find you?
Don't exactly know what the schedule is like on Dave's stuff yet, but I'm around there on Tuesdays at points, and then pretty much every Sunday on No World United for prep school.
Sounds good. Mitch, you are always missed, sometimes even when you're here. Colin, what do you got going on?
Bipping and bopping around on this channel and stuff.
Also, if you ever want to come on, Colin, and just hang out, because like Dreams in the Witch House and Lakeview Valley, which is like a Twin Peaks-esque kind of point and click game, and then Dreams of the Witch House is literally point and click Dreams of the Witch House.
Okay. I'll show up for some commentary and hang out. No problem.
I jokingly said last week that it was kind of like a library simulator, which it kind of was. You're more than welcome to hang out and like tell me what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And I also have like all the Telltale, not all of them, but almost all the Telltale games.
I love those games so much.
I haven't played them, but I have almost all of them. I have all.
Thimbleweed Park is wonderful. Yes, Mitch, that is a game everyone should play. Oh, so good.
So, yeah, if you ever want to come on and just kind of
for sure. I know my gaming rig setup right now is so subpar, but once that gets fired up, I'll definitely join you for that aspect. But yeah, man, I would love to also just shoot the breeze with you.
So, and Matt always knows he's
and well. I'm looking here at some movies that are on Prime, and I got 2 ideas already in my head. Now, what do you guys think of this?
Yeah, I'm looking through stuff.
In one hand, I've got The Burning, a very underrated slasher that I love.
You get to see sexy George Costanza at camp
with full hair.
Yeah, I've seen that movie bunch of times.
It's so good.
And it's also based on the Cropsey,
Yes.
New Jersey kind of mythology. And if you ever get the chance, watch the documentary about Cropsey.
Cropsey's
because it's about the shutdown of, I believe, Willowbrook.
Yep.
And if you ever get the chance, you can watch the documentary on Willowbrook, and your heart will break.
Heart will break, and also just like terrifying that humans could do that.
Man's inhumanity to man. It's one of the most devastating, and the only reason it got shut down is Geraldo.
Yeah, and that's
best thing Geraldo's ever done.
Yeah, a truly legitimate good thing that he did there.
So yeah, we could do that. That sounds interesting. By the way, Sunday is Chaos Scar.
And then the other thing that I noticed, and it's this movie is one of the nearest and dearest things to me of all time. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I know you love that movie.
I love.
I don't like clowns, so that one might be a
no.
I will watch it. I'll watch it, but I've seen it a bunch of times, and
okay. How about we substitute that for? And I feel like this is a gem that is on the verge of becoming a full-blown classic, modern classic. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Great movie.
Yes. So let's figure out either Burning or that.
I think I have some stuff too on my Amazon.
Yeah, you figure out some things too. Let's
get together on some different.
Yeah, we'll throw some ideas out.
There is a Killer Clown game coming out. It looks so fun. There's also funny we didn't bring this up. There's a Puppet Master game coming out.
I just heard that,
and I could not be more excited.
You're like getting all of your dreams are coming true.
It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, it's like that thing. The Secret is finally working for me. I've been putting it out into the universe. Like, I want a Killer Clowns game. I want a Puppet Master game. I want that Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. That's not the one for Atari from 40 years ago. And like the universe is like, Colin, have fun.
I'm like, I want to play Friday the 13th with 7 friends, but no one ever wants to.
Is there crossplay on that? Because I have that on my Xbox. I'm ready to fire that up at any.
I'm so stoked. Like, Doug and I bought that together to play it, and then we've never played it.
Oh, dude, it's playing that with friends is a total blast. Like, yeah, it's especially when you're hunting down your buddies and they're like, well, you're not doing anything near me. No. And then you come
also, that Jason basically teleports.
Yeah, he does have that skill. It's wonderful. It's it's so good. Year-round Shamrock Shakes, Mitch. You're reading my mind. What's going on here?
Year-round Shamrock Shakes. Oh, that's what killed Uncle O'Grimacy.
Wait, what?
Uncle O'Grimacy was the short-lived mascot for Shamrock Shakes.
I will sit. It's like somebody sent me the background on Uncle O'Grimacy. It's creepy. If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
He's Grimace's Irish uncle.
Yeah, seriously, there's no lie. He's a thing.
Yeah.
The McDonald's
and in lore he died.
I don't know if he died. I don't think he died. I think he just got rid of him. But
I know I sent this to you not too long ago, Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I want to remember the name of it really quick because I want to recommend it.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it. It would be Analog.
Oh, the
puppets.
Oh, the children's puppet show thing?
Yeah. God, what was it? Welcome Home.
Yes.
Welcome Home. I cannot recommend that enough. It is, the website is utterly amazing. They didn't just make like little bits of things. They made full fucking puppets. Yeah. They made time frame appropriate advertisements. They did all this. And when you start to go through it, it's this wonderful thing, is like this group of people who, I just started remembering about this show that I watched as a kid, and then they just took it off the air, and I really miss it. And it's all these disparate people start wanting to find it. They start tracking down this media, but there's this underlying creepiness of like, you weren't supposed to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they want you to watch it too. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would love to at some point also do a little bit of that analog horror kind of sit down and talk about like channel 58. Is that what it is? I can never remember.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Gemini Home Entertainment might be my favorite though.
It's that would I would love to do like a little deep dive into analog horror. That's
I don't need to be.
creative.
I'm not an expert, and nor am I going to do all the digging that the RD people do. But I would love to just talk about how it takes something like we've been talking about that feels so nookie blanky and makes it completely fucking unnerving.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to recommend Skinamarink in that vein.
People have been saying that Skinamarink might be the first analog horror movie.
It's got that. There's something there, and if you like really tap into that place in your mind, like think like, oh, remember how weird scary things could be when you were a kid? Like it becomes something.
I haven't watched it because I think it's a movie I'll have to very much be in the right headspace to see.
You can't, you really need to like gear yourself up. Like, okay, this is what it is, and this is what I'm here for.
I know Shudder's
definitely not a sit down and just like
Shudder's put up a couple of movies here recently that are, I think they're French, that are very like experimental, not like late 60s, early 70s stuff, and people either love it or they hate it. But a lot of people compare it to that same kind of either tour horror or kind of psychedelic horror.
I was just looking to see if it was on there, and I know you've got Prime, Ben. I don't know if it would be a good watch along because it's comedy, but you should watch The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra if you have not seen
it.
I've never seen that actually.
Great.
Oh, it's on Prime. It's a love letter. It's intentionally funny, but like Robot Monster.
Yeah.
Like all those like 50s, early 60s like drive-in horror.
I think some of the people also did a follow-up that's like a 50s sci-fi.
Yes. Yep. I've got that as well.
What's it called?
The Lost Skeleton Returns Again or something?
No, there's another one that's like a 50s like greaser X-ray eye type thing.
The X-ray suit of like Johnny.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think like it's more recent, but like they do it in the
which is the same thing with the Lost Skeletons.
Yeah.
There's the Trail of the Screaming Forehead.
I haven't seen that.
That's another one by the same like director, but
well, I need to go have some dinner.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very hungry, and I've had 2 calorie-laden beverages and a seeable today.
Well, yes, go eat. I will just share my favorite line from The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, which is, "Skeletons, they've hated me since I was a child." We thought Zadar So Hard was your best shirt. That could be it might not be exactly that line. I think that line is actually better in the movie, but I should find that and make a shirt out of that.
Yes.
I keep staring at Zadar So Hard. It makes me so happy.
That's a wonderful shirt. Yeah.
Didn't you like just make that shirt as well?
I did make this shirt. Yes.
I can't remember which one of us said the Zadar So Hard.
You said Zadar So Hard.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I do love Zadar.
Somebody in one of the group chats had been to the dentist, and we were like, "Oh, are we still going to stream tonight?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I should be fine. The swelling is down." So I took a picture of Robert Zadar and put, "It's fine. Right. The swelling is down" on the picture. And then we got on a Robert Zadar tangent. Anyway,
all right. So we hope you all have a good Friday.
Yeah.
Beginning of the weekend.
Whatever the fuck this was. Thank you.
I will be on tomorrow night for Bad at Games. Anyone who wants to come on is more than welcome.
Yeah.
Because if someone else comes on, I might be persuaded to play something that's not a punchy kicky game. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you had some fun with us talking kind of nostalgic video store.
Yeah, it was more of a memory lane episode than anything, and it was wonderful.
Wrong with that.
We'll have to come back to full moon, maybe even just do a little full moon.
I got to do some more prep. Yeah,
maybe actually like just maybe tackle like a series at a time out of full moon. I wouldn't mind doing that.
So we'll try to figure out what we're going to watch, and then or maybe even I don't know. I don't have a way to put up a poll because I don't do social media very well.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm such
I'm
a troglodyte when it comes
yeah,
to
I'm
not
a
Luddite, I should say.
I'm a straight up troglodyte. I got the
I'm,
stench powers.
I'm like a
I'm a
troglodyte from
lizard.
the
I live
movie
underground.
The Pit. This little boy feeds me people that he tosses in.
Sure. All right. Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Bye.